In today's video, I'm going to go into greater detail about how childhood, physical children, and inner children all live in the realm of the divine feminine. For this video, I'm just going to focus on the developmental stage of infancy, noting how darkness, unity consciousness, and the spiritual mystery of the life-death cycle are common to infants, inner infants, and the deepest realms of the divine feminine. Dr. Bruce Lipton asserts that the predominant brain activity during the child's first 2 years of life is delta, the lowest EEG frequency range. I consider the delta state of mind as one of darkness because it does not have the light of consciousness. Delta is the state in which we are in a profound and dreamless sleep. It's the deepest, most silent night, and the only light is that of the distant stars. In this darkness, one attunes to one's environment physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. This attunement, this dissolving of oneself into the harmony of the whole, is deeply feminine and childlike. Much like the owl, the bat, and the wolf, old friends of the divine feminine, infants and the divine feminine roam in the darkest parts of human consciousness. Alan Watts spoke of how the infant cannot differentiate between a sound it hears outside, such as a chainsaw, and itself. It doesn't know whether it made the sound or not. It doesn't differentiate between the two because in its primordial, ancient darkness, there is only one. This is also referred to as the unity consciousness, the womb consciousness, the cosmic consciousness, and so forth. This deep union and lack of differentiation is the original divine feminine. It is the biblical chaos which Logos thought right to dissect with light. It is the dragon goddess Tiamat, who was eventually split in two, her blood riding on the north wind to secret places. And I believe infancy is one such secret place. The open unity consciousness of the infant is made biologically apparent by the mammalian method of nourishment called breastfeeding, in which the survival of the infant relies on drinking the fluids of another person's body. Unity is built in biologically, both in the infant and in the mother. Breastfeeding also points to how the deepest, darkest divine feminine realm does not have boundaries. For it is the female who nourishes the child with the life-sustaining milk from her breasts. When I use the bathroom as a nanny, I take the infant in the bathroom with me, even when we are at the house. The infant will cry and suffer by any separation from me because the infant has no boundary between itself and its care provider. To leave an infant alone outside the door of the bathroom, crying, upset, is, in my opinion, unnecessarily cruel. The infant is one with its care provider. This is also why nap time for infants is often so difficult. Many care providers wait for an infant to fall asleep first before leaving the nursery so that the infant will not upset itself and miss out on its nap entirely. I have a nuanced approach to nap time that I may get into eventually in another video. The point I am making right now is that infants are not meant to be left alone. For many reasons, but for the purpose of this video, infants are meant to bond consistently because they are in the delta state, the divine feminine state of union. And I believe that spiritual call for union is to be honored and is to be answered with an affirmative yes. When communicating with one's own inner infant, it is important to remember this dark unity consciousness of the inner infant. It is best to approach the inner infant with the knowledge that it just needs to be held close and bonded with both physically and emotionally. Many times when I work with my inner infant, I gently hold a teddy bear as if it was me as an infant, and I rub its back like I do with a physical infant. Sometimes I will gently hum, I'll sway side to side, I'll sing a soft, soothing song, and I'll give the inner infant within me that primordial bliss of unity, of womb consciousness, of love. Terence McKenna also spoke on the innate boundary dissolution between the mother and her child. Terence says, birth is the quintessential boundary-dissolving experience. Birth destroys and dissolves boundaries and puts you up against the mystery. For me, this is the mystery of the life-death cycle of which we are all a part and of which we are collectively terrified. The birth of an infant begs metaphysical and existential questions to which we do not have an absolute, across-the-board, 100% certain answer. Where do babies come from? Alan Watts said that the baby is a recent incarnation of God. I view infants the same way. They arrive here in cosmic consciousness, the delta state of unity, and it is a very sacred time in their lives, not just for the infant, but also for everyone in the infant's presence. They just arrived here on Earth from another dimension, another realm, one that adults forgot about. Saren Bertrand, author of the book Womb Awakening, says that a woman's womb is an interdimensional portal. And I believe it is through that portal that spirit becomes embodied. There is deep, nourishing mystery here. Saren also laments how rare it is for people to speak of this mystery to a pregnant woman. It's almost like the life-death cycle is Lord Voldemort or something. We shall not speak of it. And indeed, this spiritual realm from which we are all born and to which we all die can appear very powerful and frightening in its ambiguity. Alan Watts spoke of the life-death cycle through the analogy of waking and sleeping. Alan said, "Try and imagine what it would be like to go to sleep and never wake up." What was it like to wake up, never having gone to sleep? That was when you were born. Birth is the dawn and the death is the dusk. One follows the other in a continuous cycle. Clarissa Pinkola Estes compares the life-death cycle to breathing, calling it the inhalations and the exhalations of greater wild nature. Again, the understanding is that you cannot have life without death, and vice versa. This mysterious, loving bond of life to death and death to life resides in the realm of the divine feminine. Surrendered to its rhythms, its guidance, allowing life, allowing death is the spiritual medicine and wisdom of the divine feminine. Estes writes, "Enter into direct dialogue with the life-death-life nature by listening to the inner voice. Learn by asking the life-death-life nature direct questions, and then listen to her answers. Learn not to be misled by the nagging voice at the back of the mind that says, 'This is silly, I'm just making all this up.' We learn to ignore that voice and listen to what is heard beyond that. We learn to focus and follow what we hear, all those things that bring us closer to acute awareness, the love of devotion, and a clear view of the soul. Through my womb shamanism studies and practices, I have entered into dialogue with the life-death nature. In womb shamanism, the life-death nature resides in the womb. Saren describes the womb as an oracle, and she asks her womb for guidance before making any important decisions. I myself just recently received direct guidance from my womb, the home of the life-death mystery. My womb has spoken with exact instructions, opinions, and lets me know what she is willing and not willing to put up with. For me, this connection with the life-death mystery is at once both deeply spiritual and deeply embodied. Similarly, the inner infant is directly connected to the mystery of the life-death nature. When reaching out to my inner infant, I cannot use memory recall the same way I would with my inner preteen. Listening to my inner infant is not unlike listening to my womb, the home of the life-death nature. She often speaks to me through allegory, magic, music, and strong emotion. There are no facts, only clues that lead me to her. This is otherworld. This is surrender. This is something beyond the realm of the 3D. For me, this is that clear view of the soul of which Estes spoke. So in conclusion, infancy, the inner infant, and the divine feminine all walk comfortably through the mind's darkest labyrinths dissolve easily into sacred union with the other, and make apparent the mysterious realm from whence we all came and to which we all will return. Thank you for listening. I'll see you next time.